Hey everybody, this is Bill Murphy with MMORPG.com, and welcome back to another episode of MMOFTW, your weekly news report on all that happened in RPGs and MMOs. Let's go ahead and tell you that this one's a little bit late this week, coming late on a Sunday, because I was actually at a wedding this weekend, and as you can see from the picture, I stole the bride's bouquet, and let's be honest, I look amazing. But let's get right to the news, because that's the important part, right? Okay, so Titan, this is the big news. Titan, Blizzard's Titan, the next MMO that we've been waiting to hear about for 7 years, is dead. It's canceled. Blizzard just pulled the rug out from under it and said, nope, no more Titan. Apparently there's a lot of leaks going around, and maybe it was some sort of sci-fi MMO sandbox hybrid thing. We'll never really know. I'm sure we'll get some sort of post-mortem one day. But Titan, as we know it, the next MMO from Blizzard Entertainment, is dead. A lot of people are wondering, does this spell the death knell of traditional MMO RPGs? And I think it does, but it doesn't spell the death knell of MMOs in general. We're going to continue to see indie sandbox creations until one day somebody has the next big hit, and then the market will flood right back to it again. This is just kind of what always happens with all genres in games, and people copied Blizzard and World of Warcraft enough times to realize it doesn't work, and now we need to find something new. So that's what we're going to get, I think, for the next several years. We're going to have to keep an eye on the smaller indie studios and see which one of them gets something right. Anyway, we will be hearing about something new from Blizzard, I'm betting, in November at BlizzCon. We're just not going to hear about Titan. Maybe we'll hear about something else entirely. Hopefully it's some sort of MMO RPG or RPG so that we can cover it, but we'll see. We'll take a look, huh? Okay, next up is Destiny, the game that came out, everybody bought it, and everybody promptly said, is having a big first patch coming up soon where they're going to have a lot of fixes to loot and itemization, so that loot and looting and hunting and trying to do that sort of endgame level 20 grind is a lot more interesting. They're going to make it so that the engrams you get, which are these little things you get off of mobs, and you go and it's kind of like Diablo, where you identify the item at an NPC. He's going to identify them, and they're going to have a greater chance to be something you actually want to keep. And a whole bunch of other little fixes and stuff like that are coming too, but still no word on the first DLC other than what it's called. So we'll keep our eyes out, and hopefully Destiny will come back from its sort of mediocre reception and improve the game and all the other stuff that we've talked about in our review, which you can read on MMORPG.com, written by none other than Rob Lashley. And speaking of games that had a lot of hype behind them and came out and kind of fizzled, let's talk about WildStar. Now, I like WildStar. I still play WildStar, although admittedly, I'm so slow to level because of all the other games I play that I'm only 38, so maybe I don't see the problem that a lot of endgame players see. And from that, I understand is that the rating attunement and the whole hardcore notion of WildStar is just not feasible anymore. For most players that play MMOs, it's just kind of too hard to get together 40 of your buddies and spend 6 hours in a raid. I mean, I think we all saw the writing on the wall with that one. In any case, WildStar came out with its State of the Game, announcing that they're going to move from giant monthly updates to giant tri-monthly updates. That's right, quarterly updates are going to be coming with lots of little patches and bug fixes in between. They announced that the mega servers are going to be coming probably in the next 6 to 8 weeks, and the next big drop won't be coming itself until November, early November. So there's a long time to wait between now, when the last drop that happened was just back in, let me think, August, and all the way till November for the next one. But their focus now is on keeping things at quality, because anybody who really was playing WildStar before noticed that the patches that came out were full of bugs, and they made things worse than they probably should have been. The QA department was obviously overwhelmed and couldn't just do their job at the pace that they were trying to release these updates. So part of the fixes are going to be coming out. You're going to see patches with like little bug fixes and stuff like that, and then the big releases, they want to polish them, and release them every 3 months. We'll take a look and kind of see how WildStar is doing every week, as we always do, with our own Gareth Harmer's WildStar column, and hopefully the guys at Carbine can turn the ship around. But we have a massive interview with Mike Donatelli and the guys over at Carbine Studios coming out in the next week or two, so keep your eyes peeled to the site. And let's talk about Blade and Soul, that Asian action MMO from Korea, from NCSoft actually, that's already been out in Korea for a while now, is still not coming to the US and EU anytime soon. There was a possibility of it coming to the EU and US because a video that was filmed by a Russian site didn't quite translate it correctly. Everybody thought, oh my gosh, it's going to come out this year, it's going to be a big surprise. But no, guys, no. If we had taken the time to actually wait and see a proper translation of this Russian video, we would have known that it's not coming out in 2014. However, the guys from NCSoft do say they want to get it out as soon as possible, and hopefully 2015 is the year we see Blade and Soul, and hopefully people still care. And then ArcheAge. Let's talk about ArcheAge, because we can't go a week without talking about Trion's newest release. The queue times have been greatly reduced. Yay! You can log in most nights now with a queue of less than 100 people as a patron. I don't know what it's like as a free-to-play player, but that's way better than several thousand. It doesn't take longer than 15 minutes to get into the game. On a high traffic night, and during the day it's almost always just completely open, log in and play, so that's good. New server technologies are in place, new server balance increases are in place, and a couple more servers have been opened. You still can't find land anywhere, so I've decided I'm just gonna take to a boat, build a clipper, and become a fisherman. But in the meantime, I'm sure everybody else will eventually stop being so hawkish about the land, and maybe we'll start selling it. We'll see. In any case, ArcheAge is doing much better this week than it did the week before of its launch. And finally, let's talk about Neverwinter. Neverwinter is the D&D MMO from Cryptic Studios and Perfect World Entertainment. They just announced their next expansion. It's all about dragons, go figure, because, you know, D&D and dragons kind of go together well. Tiamat the dragon is coming in the next expansion. It's called The Rise of Tiamat, and it'll continue the story in tune with the D&D tabletop game. It'll also bring a new Paragon path for the recently released Scourge Warlock class. Playstyles for both solo and group play will be there for the new class. High-level players will have the opportunity to gather additional pieces of artifact gear as they prepare themselves for a massive battle against one of Dungeons & Dragons' most fearsome villains. And a whole new campaign, obviously. What we're hoping is that this campaign isn't one that you have to spend a whole bunch of time doing daily quests before you unlock. We'll see. That's one of the main problems with Neverwinter, is that they make you do a whole bunch of boring stuff before you get to the good stuff in the new expansions, instead of letting them just be open for everybody. So hopefully they took that feedback, and we'll see it in this new Rise of Tiamat module coming in the next couple months here. In any case, that's it for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed your weekend as much as I did, and do take another look at that beautiful wedding picture of me holding the bouquet, because it's just, gosh, I'm a pretty bride, aren't I? Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow us on MMORPG.com on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter at TheBillMurphy. And as always, don't let a bad pug get you down.